Hey, welcome to my channel. Tonight we're doing something we hadn't done in a really long time. I thought I'd bring y'all along to have supper with me. From start to finish, this meal took an hour. I muted, this is how I know, I didn't look at the clock, but I muted my messenger on my phone right before I started, and it's not unmuted yet. So we're not up to a full hour. When you see what we made, you're going to be surprised that we could actually do that in an hour's time. So we're having, I start saying that's all, but let me tell you what we're having. We're having a new recipe for low carb. I don't know if it's keto. It might be keto. I don't know. I don't know how mushrooms and onions play into the keto scene. But it's Alfredo, and I'm using it on top of the Fiber Gourmet linguine. They don't have fettuccine, so linguine is just as good, and broccoli on the side, and some chicken tenders that I started on top of the stove and finished in the oven. So they were just working in the oven while I was working on the Alfredo and everything else. So it came together really nicely. So let's eat, y'all. So the first thing we're going to do is start our chicken. I have preheated my cast iron pan, and I just am using some chicken tenders tonight. I have a lot of them because, let me put some oil in my pan before I forget. There's only going to be a few left in the bag, and I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and use them all. What I'm doing here is I'm just drying because they thawed out in this bowl and they're sitting in their own juice. I just kind of want to get some of that liquid off. Okay, now I'm going to use this tonight. I don't know if it's kinders or tenders. I say kinders. But I thought that might go good with the Alfredo. Now, we're not cooking this chicken till it gets done, because I'm just going to brown it and toss it in the oven to finish while we do everything else. Now, when you're cooking with cast iron, you don't want to move the chicken until it releases itself. See that? It will release its own juice and release itself from the pan. If you do it too soon, it's going to stick. So just give it time to do its thing. See that right there, it's sticking a little bit. Alright, now we will just remove our browned chicken to a plate. A little bit of more oil. Add the rest of our chicken. Okay, so now I am just going to put this other chicken back in the pan, pop it in the oven on 350 for probably 20 minutes. Alright, now we're going to start our Alfredo sauce. If you can see in the background, I'm getting my water boiling to put the pasta in. So I've preheated my pan. We just wanted to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil. I'm using avocado oil. I have already chopped, sliced an 8-ounce container of mushrooms. I just cut them in half and sliced them. That's the size I want them, but you do them any size you want. So put all that in there. And then just about, I don't know, a little handful of onions. I don't even know what the recipe says. It does say finely chopped, but I don't mind big chunks of onion. So if you want it finely chopped, then you can make yours smaller than I do. Now let's get this coated. And we're just going to leave this be If you don't mess with mushrooms, now unless you feel like it's burning or something, if you don't mess with mushrooms and just let them do their thing, they will cook perfectly for you. So I'm going to try to leave these alone for probably 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so my chicken just came out. I stirred these one time. You can see how nice and done they got. I just let them sit there and do their thing. Now, this is where I'm using xanthan. I always say xanthan gum. It is just this powder for thickening. That's what you use if you're doing keto or low carb instead of cornstarch. Cornstarch has carbs. If you're not doing, that's a half a teaspoon, by the way. If you're not doing low carb, you would sprinkle on a tablespoon of cornstarch and stir it around to get it all good and mixed in. Then we're going to add 2 cups of heavy cream. And I would imagine if you're not doing low carb and you're doing Weight Watchers, I would think fat-free half and half would probably do you just as well. And we want to stir this, cook it till it starts to thicken up a little. Okay, so my water has started boiling for the pasta. I'm using the Fiber Gourmet. Now I'm only making 6 ounces, 2 ounces per serving, because I don't want any leftovers, and all we need is 3 servings, 2 for supper and then 1 for him to take. So I had 2 ounces left in another bag, and I only needed, oh yeah, I did that right. I've got 4 ounces left in here because I had to take 2 out. So I'm going to go ahead. This is how it comes in these little... So I think I'll just go ahead and dump that in there. I didn't get my spoon. So I don't even know how long the package says to cook it, because last time I made it, I didn't even read it. Let's read it. It says 6 to 10 minutes or to the desired texture. Well, mine's going to be a lot longer than that. We like our pasta soft. Now, this pasta, it is firm. It got soft. It will get soft, but it's a firm soft, if that makes a lick of sense. So we're just going to leave that back there and let it do its thing, and come back over here and check on our Alfredo. With 2 cups, honestly, I think I may add another half a teaspoon of the xanthan gum. So this is as thick as I'm going to let it get, because I want it to be a little loose when I add the pasta to it, because I want that pasta to soak in some of it, if it will. Now we're going to add a teaspoon of dried thyme. You can use fresh if you have it. I do not. And then 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. You can grate your own. I just bought mine already. Sometimes I just like the shortcuts. So we're just going to turn the heat off. Let that cheese melt. Look how good and creamy that is. I'm just going to cover it, slide it off the heat, and let it stay warm until we need the pasta. Now what I'm going to do is, let me turn that back on, because this is my big burner. I'm going to bring my pasta up here and see if I can't get it cooking quicker. So while the pasta is finishing, I'm going to cook my broccoli. This is a steam in the bag broccoli. It's washed and ready to go. 3 to 4 minutes, just like that, in the microwave. And when I come back, the pasta will be ready, and we'll put it in our sauce, and then we'll plate up. The broccoli's done. I just put it in that dish that I weighed my pasta in. Now let's see, how is this held up? It thickened a little bit more as it set. Oh, Oh, that looks delicious. So let's just dump in our pasta. This sauce is enough for 4 servings, so you can use your, what I'm trying to say. Let me get my other thing. Your 8 ounces of pasta instead of 6. Okay, all that's left to do is to plate up. I'm just going to eyeball a third of this. If you want to get more accurate, you can you could certainly weigh it, measure it. I think that looks all right. Let's cover that for David. I already had bubbles on the lid, so let's just set that back. Let's add some broccoli. And hold on, I'll get the chicken. Okay, here is my plate of food. The broccoli, I don't count carbs in that, so I don't know how many it is because it's a green vegetable, and I'm not taking a hit for carbs in a green vegetable. You're lucky I'm eating it. Chicken, 0 carbs. The sauce, I think it's 7. If it's something else, I'll put it on the screen. The sauce is 7, and the pasta is 17. So that's a 24 carb supper. I've only had maybe not even 30 for the whole day. So in theory and on paper, I could eat 20 more tonight if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. So I can still eat something this delicious and stay within my carb allowance that I'm doing between 30 and 50. So I'm going to taste this, so hold on. Oh my goodness. That is delicious. Now you can taste the mushrooms. I hope it's not going to be too much for David. It's not that earthy taste that he was talking about earlier. It's just mushroomy. I have chicken and broccoli to mix in with it. So that's it for me. I'm glad y'all come along, had supper with me, and I'll see you on my next video.